Let's show us what's in the box. Top secret.
First one is for Grizz.
Oh.
What?
Hang on, what do we got?
Keep going, though, man. You're doing good. Yes! Dude, you punched the fuck out of that, man.
Holy fucking shit!
So good. Yo, Captain Pear.
I didn't know what was going on there.
Man. Fucking got him.
Fucking got him, dude.
Holy shit. Dude, good game. Fucking good game. Are you ready? I knew it!
Cap, look at my fish.
Oh, wow.
My little bite. Ready? Bitch.
Always steal those kisses from you. Always have to steal those kisses from you. Always have to steal those kisses from you. Oh, yeah, yeah. Always have to steal my kisses from you. Always have to steal my kisses from you. Oh. All right. Let's show us what's in the box. Top secret.
First one is for Grizz.
Oh.
What?
Hang on. What do we got?
Keep going, though, man. You're doing good. Yes! Dude, you punched the fuck out of that, man.
Holy fucking shit!
So good. Yo, Captain Pear.
I didn't know what was going on there.
Man. Fucking got him.
Fucking got him, dude.
Holy shit. Dude, good game. Fucking good game. Are you ready? I knew it!
Cap, look at my fish.
Oh, wow.
My little bite. Ready? Bitch.
Always have to steal those kisses from you. Always have to steal those kisses from you. Always have to steal those kisses from you. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Always have to steal my kisses from you. Always have to steal my kisses from you. Oh. All right. Let's show us what's in the box. Top secret.
First one is for Grizz.
Oh.
What?
Hang on. What do we got?
Keep going, though, man. You're doing good. Yes! Dude, you punched the fuck out of that, man.
Holy fucking shit!
So good. Yo, Captain Pear.
I didn't know what was going on there.
Man. Fucking got him.
Fucking got him, dude.
Holy shit. Dude, good game. Fucking good game. Are you ready? I knew it!
Cap, look at my fish.
Oh, wow.
My little bite. Ready? Bitch.
Always.
Fucking good.
Thanks, mate.
G'day, legends.
G'day, Sukai.
G'day, mate.
What's going
Cap,
on, Sooks?
you look like you've lost weight in the face, mate. Seriously.
Yeah, I think I have.
Yeah, he gave it to me.
That's crazy. Well done, sir.
Cop that, have you, bastard? It's called dexamphetamines, and it stops you from remembering to eat all day, so you lose heaps of weight.
Well,
Can you get me some of those, Cap?
actually, I got to talk to you about that.
Yeah, me too.
'Cause, like, I've been putting off going to like getting myself checked for that.
They do
Dude,
fucking
same.
say that people with ADD band together.
Oh, there you go.
See, the thing is, if you keep forgetting that you to go and get your diagnosis, you probably do have ADHD.
That's why we're all not fucking
Well, my referral
diagnosed.
expired 3 years ago, so that's that.
Yeah, that's one hell of a fucking procrastination effort, right? I tell you what, though, I get I don't know. I think I told Grizzler, but like it's the best thing that's ever fucking happened to me.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So good, Cap. So good,
Like
mate.
just my motivation in life has like been so much better. I'm so
Dang.
much more productive at work.
Oh wow.
Like I don't know, the whole not eating thing is like kind of a bonus for me at the moment, but like it's going to become a problem when I do and if I do lose enough weight. But yeah, it's just been crazy.
Are you more productive than WoW, Cap? Fuck, we should save this for the podcast, mate. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
absolutely.
We should stop talking about this shit now.
One thing before we get started, Cap, your last main topic, is that supposed to be that description, or is that?
Yes,
All right,
it
cool.
is. Hey, g'day,
Dark
Chris. How you going,
Canister.
man?
What's up, man?
No, that's Dark Chris. That's not Dark,
Dark Chris.
Canister.
It's the same dude, isn't it?
No,
Oh, it's
Dark
different
Chris is a
dude.
Perth legend.
Oh,
Oh,
all
he's
right,
Dark
there you go.
Chris.
I've definitely seen Darkris before too, though.
All
How's it
right.
going?
Am I? Let me just double check. Yeah, that one works. I'm good to go. Are you fellas ready?
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
ready to rockin', mate.
All
do
right. You want to start your timer, Cap?
Yep. Fucking. Where are we? Yep. Ready to go. You ready? G'day and welcome to Oceanic Gaming. Did I pronounce that correctly? That sounded really weird. Oceanic Gaming Radio. Welcome. How you doing? Thanks for joining us. This is OGR. We're a podcast from Western Australia. We talk about all kinds of things video gaming, and we're going to continue that tradition. It's become a tradition at this stage now. I think once you hit 44 episodes, I think that's when a tradition begins.
Yeah, we're done.
And the tradition now is consistently to some degree recording this podcast. Anyways, yeah, how you doing? My name is Captain Perth. You can call me Capo. And alongside me, as always, my wonderful co-hosts, Grizzly Gaming 86 and Pavlov Face.
Ahoy, hoy, Capo.
How you doing? We doing all right, boys? How's life? How's things? Pavlich, what's new with you, buddy?
Nothing new. With me, I had a big weekend. I was on a boat. Pretty sure I got heat
Damn.
stroke.
I saw some videos of that, Pav.
yeah, good fun.
Now, I wanted to ask you this, Pav. There was 2 boating accidents over the weekend. Both were quite severe. In fact, one of them is definitely not a joke because people did pass away from said
Oh,
boating
really?
accident. The other one was
I was going to say something really dumb.
on a party boat where a dude ran into a pylon and then the cops came and the skipper mooned the cops while they were there telling them. Were you on that party boat by chance, Pav?
We were in the same area at the same time, but I had no idea until like I got home and saw the article. But like we docked at the same place where that accident happened, but I have no
Really?
idea. Like apparently half an
Jeez.
hour later, so it must have all been done and
Cleaned up.
gone. But yeah,
Well, the boat was sunk by then, mate. So,
what
yeah.
must have been. We laugh, but I don't know if we should laugh.
So what was the event, Pav? What was the
It was a Christmas party for a late Christmas party.
what? Jeez, okay, yeah.
For the
For next year. Yeah.
for the quiz host, the company I do the quiz nights for.
Ah.
Oh,
'cause-
wicked, dude.
Yeah, because everybody worked through Christmas. We
I saw a photo, and there was a guy that looked remarkably like me.
Yeah,
and I was
I
like,
saw that.
Pav, just because we can't hang out as much as we could, in the past, like you don't have to fucking go and find
Yo,
a doppelganger,
I've got a few Captain Perth doppelganger friends actually. Is
that right?
Yeah.
dude.
I don't think
I
I've
have a
ever
lot
seen
of doppelgangers.
anyone that looks like Captain Perth. I don't think I've ever met anyone that looks
Yeah, it's
remotely
hard
like
to
you, Cap.
recreate perfection, mate. That's the problem.
It's true.
DNA perfection. Yeah. Well, that sounds. Anything else, Pav, or just
No,
cruising,
no,
mate?
that was it for
Literally
me.
cruising.
Literally, yeah, hey, nice. I like
Yeah.
it. No, I've been chill.
Fucking nice, dude. What about you, Grizzler? What's been you?
Settled in. It's my second week of work, Cap. 2 Mondays in a row I've rocked up into the office and literally I'm like the only person there. Because they just have this fucking very like heavy work from home culture. So I'm not going to make the same mistake next week. Monday, Fridays, mate, is the work from home days. So sort that out.
That doesn't sound that heavy.
No, it's pretty standard, I think, and but they're good. The company is just really
happy to let you do your
happy
thing.
to let you do your thing. Yeah, they trust that you're gonna not play World of Warcraft all day, Cap.
Well, that's where they're gonna go wrong. Mate. Okay,
so we'll
classic.
see. But that's been good. But Cap, I actually finished a book that I've been trying to finish for ages, and I think you're a fan of this author, Brandon Sanderson, Cap.
Yes. So he's written a lot of really good Forgotten Realms books, specifically the Dritz Do'Urden Chronicles, which is a story about a dark elf born in the Underdark.
Really?
Very, very good book, dude. If you like D&D style. It's set in the D&D universe, basically.
I actually really love the idea of the Underdark in general. In fact, the last character I designed for D&D was from the Underdark.
I mean, dude, honestly, that's the fucking book if you like that stuff. It basically goes through this one. Like Dark Elves are inherently evil generally, and
everything in the Underdark's fucked up, man. Like you can't walk anywhere and not get attacked by something. It's like super hectic.
Yeah. So Dritz basically is like the exception to that rule, and he kind of gets whisked away in this very prominent family, and he gets brought up by another elf that's kind of not evil, really. And yeah, I don't want to give too much away because the book is really fucking good. Definitely worth a bit of a crack, and it kind of follows his early life growing up and becoming this insanely. I mean, also he's a dex wielder, mate. He has 2 fucking scimitars, so it's like literally it's so
Love
your book. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but carry on.
No,
yes,
you're right.
What were you reading?
So I finished the first book in the Stormlight Archives, which is
how was it?
Man, absolutely loved it. Holy shit. Like, I read the Wheel of Time books back in the day, and I remember thinking when I got to like the 11th or the 10th book, I was like, the start's great, the end's great, the middle is just all filler that just like didn't need to be there. These books so far, I'm about halfway through the next one now, are just so well written, and the story arcs are so good. And I love the way that they kind of cut between the different story arcs that are happening across the same time, but I can kind of tell that they're all going to tie into this one intricate story. And I'm just waiting for that to happen. But no, very impressed so far.
That sounds really good. I hate really when you read a book and you're kind of reading stuff and you can't really perceive how things are going to, if they're even going to tie together. So like you kind of just are having to constantly pay it. I don't know. It sounds really dumb. You have to pay attention, which, I try to pay attention with books, but like I read books before I go to sleep in bed. And like I have to reread like 2 pages before I actually went to sleep because there's just nothing went in during that moment in time. But I'll have to give that a crack, man.
I tell you what, dude. One little thing that I really love about these dudes is this created this world that is completely different to our world. It's basically ravaged by storms, and the environments that is written in this book is environments that are adapted to living through these storms. Things like the grass is up when it's not raining and windy and stormy, and then they retract into the ground when a high storm comes to kind of hide. And all the animals have these different mechanics to be able to shelter themselves, and it's just the way that he explains the environments in the book are just really
good world building.
Just very good world building. Yeah, very well done.
So you finished that over the weekend?
Finished the book one, over the weekend, and sunk my teeth into book two. I'm kind of hooked on that at the moment. So it's good.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Anything else on your weekend agenda? Did you played a gig? Didn't you?
I did play a gig. We've actually got we're getting more and more bookings, which is great. So I think we've got nearly 2 a month. Once a fortnight, we've got a show on now, and it went really well. We're really enjoying it, and the publican's very happy with us there, and he just wants us back all the time, mate. So
that's awesome, mate. That's what you want to hear. Brilliant. Nice.
Very good. What about you, Cap? What's happening in your world, mate? I haven't spoken to you for a while.
Not an awful lot, to be honest, mate. I've just been playing a bit of WoW. Been working. Work's actually been really busy, which has been great. just kind of getting back into the swing of things, and I just don't feel like I've had much of a time to even scratch my ass, to be honest. I've just been getting smashed, which is, again, it's good. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
So that's been really good. Just looking after little old T-Dog. He is 4 months as of today. 4 months old. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, fuck, time goes fast, eh? Jeez.
Absolutely, dude. It's accelerated, especially now that we're just kind of like, just living life, and he's a part of it, which is cool. So that's been really great. He's been really good. What else? I have been reading. I've been reading a 40K novel. I don't know if I mentioned that on this podcast, but probably have. But that's been really good.
How are you finding it, Cap? Is it good?
It's good. There's a little bit of extracurricular reading I'm having to do here and there, but I basically looked up this guide online on how to get into like the 40K universe, because I've never played any of the tabletop stuff. All I've played is like basically Darktide, and when I played Darktide, I was like, man, this world is sick.
Yeah,
I need more. And then our friend Mano, Mano listens to the show. Thank you, Mano, for getting me onto the books. He kind of gave me a bit of a rundown of the list, and then I kind of did a bit of extracurricular stuff. And, there was a couple of books that kind of, kept showing up over and over again as good places to start to get your eye in on the universe as a whole.
So
and do a pretty good job. So
does this paint the picture of Darktide a little more for you? Because I know that me going into there,
honestly,
I'm kind of like...
not really.
No? Okay.
Darktide seems like a little blemish in the overall universe, whereas the shit that they're doing in this book is like some pretty big shit. Basically, it's kind of, you follow, the book I'm reading is called Eisenhorn, and it follows an inquisitor who is basically tasked with rooting out chaos in the universe, which is basically just like the rebellious sect of people who believe in, what is effectively Lovecraftian gods, and wants to kind of enable them to rule the universe, basically.
I think, Cap, just to interrupt you really quickly, I think Chaos were, for me, the Aesthetic is my favourite looking race in 40K. Yeah. They were always the very gothic armour, like kind of like red eyes, kind of tainted. I don't know. I just always found them looking pretty cool. Yeah,
there's a lot of gothic themes just in 40K in general, which is super rad. And it's just... I don't know, the way that this book does a really good job of kind of painting certain themes and reoccurring ideas within, I guess, the 40K universe, so that I can kind of latch on and kind of get an understanding of what's going on, rather than just mentioning like a servitor, for example, which is kind of like a, just things like that. And they kind of explain it, briefly, but enough for me to kind of understand what the fuck's going on without having had to play 10 years worth of tabletop games to understand what each unit is. So it's been really good. And it's
what
kind of
came first, Kat? Was it the game or was it the lore that came first in the 40K universe?
The game?
Is it the game, is it? Yeah, I'm not sure either. I was genuinely curious.
Yeah, I actually have no idea. Probably a good question for a bit of extracurricular reading, and I'll let you know next week. Or maybe someone might tweet us or something if you know the answer to that.
Well, Cap, look at us, mate. We're both reading. This is it actually is reasonably bizarre for me. I haven't read a book for quite a while, so
I go through like waves of what I do. Like I'll be either reading manga or I'll be watching anime or reading books, basically, and I just kind of flick between those different activities before I go to sleep at night. So at the moment I'm reading, and then I'm sure I'll start reading manga again, and then I'll watch the animes. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, that's what I've been doing myself.
Pretty cool.
Other than that, not an awful lot. Actually, one thing I was going to say, Grizz, I had another thing I want to do as part of my New Year's resolution.
Oh yes, give it to me,
that
mate.
Popped up. So every month, this is, I think, fairly achievable for me, because I was thinking like this is a fairly achievable goal to make sure that I'm still like exposing myself to a lot of different video games this year.
Yeah.
Each month, I want to try and play a different indie game.
Wow, that is such a good goal, mate. That is such a good goal.
So that's 12 indie games across the year. I mean, obviously, it'd be nice if I could play one every week, but it's just not going to happen with it.
Are you going to pre-select these to a certain extent around release windows and stuff, you reckon?
Yeah, I'm going to try and aim for the games that are released in that month. So we'll see how we go. This month, I have chosen a little game called Under Dungeon, which I haven't bought yet, but I will.
Under Dungeon, dang.
Yeah, it's like a little kind of like GBA graphic style well, Game Boy graphics style, not GBA, actual original Game Boy kind of black and white pixels in the theme of kind of Zelda, like I'm talking like Zelda 1 stuff. So, but with a few more mechanics baked in because obviously we've moved along in time and we can do more things. So it looks pretty cool. I haven't played a Zelda like in a very long time, so hopefully some fun mechanics. It looks pretty interesting. It's called 1-bit graphics because it's either on or it's off, black or white.
Right.
It says 1 bit. So yeah, it looks really cool.
Days, mate. That's how I played my first ever Pokemon experience. Very similar like that, Cap. 1-bit graphics. Yeah.
That's the real shit. So, so yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that. You know, it's got kind of like, you know, the standard Zelda tropes, like kind of, you know, your rooms, and each room generally has puzzles and combat and stuff like that, and you're using different tools and stuff to figure out what the puzzles are, I guess. So very, very heavily Zelda-like, but yeah, I'm going to pick it up on Switch, and surely that can run on Switch, Grizz. You fucking hope so, wouldn't you? Being a 1-bit game.
Yeah, I'm sure you're fine.
Yeah, so I think we'll be right there. But yes, that's going to be another thing I am going to be doing.
Yeah, very good. I will have to keep in touch for that. Maybe every month we'll do a little section, Cap's Indie Game of the Month, and see how that's going.
Yeah, just let you. Well, because this is the thing, I'm going to be trying to like target certain games per month. So, you know, if I go, oh, I'll get this one this month, then it's a shit one. I'll be like, oh man,
God damn it,
I've just ruined my February. So, but yeah, we'll see how long if I can stick to it with a baby. But I'm going to do my absolute best. So, freaking, you know, stay tuned for Capo's Indie Gem of the Month. So there you go.
Very nice.
I'll be doing a little bit of research to pick those games. But if anyone has a suggestion from home that they'd like to send us, you can email me, oceanicgamingradio@gmail.com, or just tweet at us and say, hey, Cap, this game comes out on this month and I reckon you'd fucking love it. And I'll say, mate, that looks like shit, or fuck yeah, let's do that. So
get into it.
Yeah. Okay. If you want to send me some suggestions, you're more than welcome to. Or you can join us on Discord. We've got a Discord server. Just check out the links in our link tree, which should be in the description of this episode. Or if you're watching live from twitch.tv, Monday nights, 7 p.m. AWST, then you can do that. Now, speaking about all that stuff, just want to say thank you for joining us. As always, you guys bloody rock for being here. Appreciate you. If you can do us one favor, share the podcast on your socials, or, you know, with your friends. If you know someone who might enjoy the content here, get a bit of a kick out of a weekly dose of gaming goodness from your Aussie boys, you know, with a bit of banter sprinkled over the top. Just freaking tell them about us. It'd be really great. But yeah, other than that, always want to say thank you to our wonderful Patreons each week, because they are literally paying. They put the pay in Patreons. They're fucking paying for us to do things soon. We actually had a bit of a podcast meeting to discuss what we're going to do with Patreon money. So stay tuned. It's going to be utilized to propel this podcast into the future. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. But yeah, thank you very much, Patreons. You guys rock. Sukai, Moosey, Caging Runt, Sergeant Paul, Lee, GD, J Libs, Nicole, and Brendan. Again, appreciate you. You guys are legends. But yeah, you got anything to say about all that, Chris?
Mate, just appreciate everyone being legends. You too, Kat. Appreciate you being a legend. And Pav.
Oh, God, look at you. It's fucking sucking up to me. But yeah, all right, well, let's jump straight into it, Grizz. We've got a bit of a fairly largish episode tonight. We're going to begin with our most anticipated games of 2023. That's this year, baby. Okay, yes. So strap yourselves in for that one. It's probably going to be a fairly large topic, and depending on how long that goes will depend on how much of the rest of the shit we can get through, but we'll see how we go. Now, if you have been keeping your ear to the ground, you'll know that there's some pretty big rumblings happening in the video game corporate world at the moment. We're going to walk you through all that stuff with Microsoft and some stuff also happening at Blizzard as well. So we'll talk you through that. Now, Todd Howard has given us a little Starfield sprinkle. So we'll let you know what he's got to say about some of the new stuff to expect from Starfield. Square Enix doing some potentially dodgy stuff with Forspoken. We'll tell you a bit more about that as well. And we're also going to be releasing top secret military documents. So we'll be doing that a little bit later on in the show if we get to it. So there you go. All right, let's jump straight into it, Grizzly. Let's go. That's our stinger. So
how do you want to do this, Cap? You want to do like one game each until we work through our 5, do you think? Or do you want us to do it in a block?
I reckon do it in a block and go from your like last one up to your most anticipated, and then do your special mentions.
God, see, I didn't actually order mine. Okay, I guess I can sort that out. Yeah, I did. Yeah, all right, sounds good.
Wow,
do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first, mate?
I reckon we might get you to go first.
Okay, let's do it. All right, mate. Well, look, number 5. Now that I've thought about this, when I originally thought about my 5, Cap, I didn't think about my most anticipated to my least. Originally, I wanted to see when Hades 2 was coming out, Cap, but that's not till 2024, mate. So we've just missed the window on that one.
Yeah. And it looks like a cracker.
It looks like a cracker. Number 5 for me, Cap, is a game called Witchfire. Which is due to come out 2023. I believe early access starts Q1. And then full release later on in the year. But we've spoken about Witchfire before on this podcast. I think it might have been on like the Devolver Digital or somewhere where we saw some footage and we showed a bit on here. But if you don't remember what it is, it's like a dark fantasy RPG game. And this is a bit of a description from the website. So, desperate for a chance to triumph in the deadly war against the witches, the church calls upon a forbidden pagan magic to turn willing sinners into immortal witch hunters called the Prayers. Armed with powerful spells and fearsome firearms conjured by the best Vatican sorcerers, your mission is to find the infamous Witch of the Black Sea, destroy the phantom army that protects her, and retrieve the mysterious artifact that can turn the tide of war. Now, this game is marketed as a roguelite, which, if you're a long-time listener, you know that I'm a big fan of that genre of games. So,
it's roguelite, hey?
It's a roguelite, and it's extremely minimalistic. If you've looked at footage of this game, there is no HUD. Apparently, there's no cutscenes. It's straight into action, and off you go, and it's very...
That's cool.
It's very... gothic visuals, but it incorporates your gun wielding. Essentially, you see shotguns and pistols and single shot rifles, and then you are slaying these enemies that kind of look reminiscent of Dark Souls 3 enemies, where they're kind of armored, and it's very stylistic.
It looks kind of like almost Spanish conquistador style armor. And the environments are kind of like a hellish kind of Amazon cross medieval thing, which looks really cool, right? But it's kind of got that like stylistically kind of like that Skyrim like magic thing happening with your hands.
Pull the hands out in front of them and do bits
I guess
and pieces.
almost kind of like Dishonored as well, where Dishonored kind of did different things with their hands as well. Kind of got that kind of first person spell thing going on.
Yeah.
Looks very cool though.
So I think this looks great, Cap, and I really like I guess what I've heard about the style of the game. My only concern with this is that it's been in production since 2017, so quite a while. So there is a few concerns around, have they overcooked it potentially, a bit too long in the oven? But I guess we'll see. We'll find out.
Yeah, I think there was something to do with they repurposed it or something.
Yeah,
at one point. I'm not too sure what the deal was there. I can't quite remember exactly what the full story was, but yeah, I believe the reason it's been in there for so long is because they initially had one direction with it and then basically took it in a different direction with the repurposing. But yeah, so looks freaking good, Grizzler.
Watch it, mate.
Very nice.
Number 4 for me, Cap, is a game called Darkest Dungeon 2.
Oh yeah.
So this has been in early release for a while, and I have played it. It is due for full release in Feb 23, so it should be on our doorstep anytime. Now, Darkest Dungeon 1, Cap, is probably one of my all-time favorite indie games. It's extremely unique, and if you haven't played Darkest Dungeon game, it's essentially like a dungeon delving adventure game, but it really focuses strongly on party management in terms of stress. And what happens is your party will get stressed and so stressed that they'll take on these random traits. So one of your guys might get a thing where he likes to steal from you all the time, and all of a sudden he's nicking stuff during your dungeon run. And then when you get back to town, you can go and put them in different places to remove their different affixes. Anyway, it's a very unique style game. Never played anything like it. It was quite groundbreaking when it came out for an indie game. So number 2 is coming out, and so far, Cap, it hasn't been reviewed particularly well. It definitely didn't capture me, but I still have high hopes because I think these devs know what they're doing with this game, and I think that they can probably, hopefully, fix it. So yes, I'm looking forward to 2023. Did you play Darkest Dungeon 1, Cap? Did you enjoy it?
I did, mate. Yeah, really enjoyed my time with it. It was just one of those games I never finished, but I gave it a really good crack. I think I found I'm interested to see how they can iterate, because I think for me, I think there's ways that they can maybe make it a little bit less. I mean, obviously it's a roguelite, so there is repetition, but I guess removing a bit of the repetition in some of the areas, just to kind of expand the scope of it a little bit.
Definitely. And that's kind of my gripe with the number 2, Cap. They've got this mechanic, right, where it's almost like a pick a path kind of thing. Like if you picture Slay the Spire, you can pick 3 different ways to go or whatever it might be, and you can kind of see the rewards in a different way. Darkest Dungeon 2 has kind of done that, but I don't think it's implemented particularly well. So that basically you're in a cart and you're veering down a road, and you can kind of pick which road you'd like to go down. But the game makes you physically travel down the length of road, and that length of road, nothing happens in that space. It's literally just like a loading screen almost. So I don't know whether that's something they're going to fix in the release, but it just seemed like there was a lot of wasted time, and a lot of people were complaining about, essentially what is the mechanic in that traveling period. I know that Darkest Dungeon 1, you could argue Darkest Dungeon 1 had a similar thing, Cap, because I don't know if you remember, but you're walking along a dungeon, and there's often moments where you're walking your party forward and nothing's happening. But there's a suspense that's building as well.
There's a
suspense that's building.
Oh man, I don't really want to go through an encounter right now, but and then you get, like a special event happens, and then you're like, oh sweet, this happened, and then you do it, and then you're like, oh, my party is now being consumed by a Lovecraftian god. Okay, no worries. That's way worse than the encounter that I was expecting.
So look, Darkest Dungeon 2 hasn't got that. I don't know yet. It hasn't got that feeling. And Darkest Dungeon 1 also had this the light mechanic as well, which is built into Darkest Dungeon 2, but it's not done as well. I don't think it builds up that suspense like you do in the first one. Anyway.
You said you're looking forward to this game.
I am, because I trust the devs to be able to bring out a good game, Cap. I think that they nailed the brief on Darkest Dungeon 1. They've had so much community feedback on the second one in the beta, and they've had enough time to iron out the kinks and make a good game. So I still am backing Red Hook Studios here to come through with the goods and deliver on Darkest Dungeon 2. So February 23 will be that one.
Okay, sweet. I'm looking forward to watching the full Grizzly playthrough on twitch.tv/GrizzlyGaming86.
All right, Cap. Game number 3 for me, mate. And I am streaming again. Thank you, Cap, for the shout out. Yes, do get in there.
Nice,
sub to Grizzly Gaming 86. You can do that. Cap, Darker and Darker. Do you know anything about Dark and Darker? Sorry.
Dude, I am watching a video of it right now, and this is like I'm getting a lot of Morrowind vibes and a lot of chivalry vibes.
Okay, it looks jank, all right? But here is the concept. The concept is amazing, right? So Dark and Darker is a PvE, PvP loot hoarder, which takes inspiration from the very successful Escape from Tarkov. But it's set in a medieval landscape where you have classes. So you have these classes: fighter, barbarian, rogue, ranger, wizard, cleric, and it is a cooperative game where you form your party with your mates and you delve into the dungeon. The deeper you go, the better enemies you fight, the higher rewards you find, but then you've got to get out against other players that are trying to do the same thing as you. So this has had a couple of open beta tests so far, and I know exactly what you're thinking, Cap, because it does look a little bit jank, and it is a little bit jank, but I think the gameplay mechanic, if done correctly, and people are saying that it's quite good, it could be a cracker of an indie game that might capture a few people.
For sure. I mean, honestly, there's something to be said about jankiness. Sometimes jankiness can actually be a game's main feature sometimes. It depends on the way that it depends on the flavor of jankiness. Is it jankiness in the sense that it's like buggy as all hell and utter garbage, or does that jankiness kind of give combat kind of this, I don't know, risk reward system, and you know what I mean. I think in this particular instance, looking at the video, I don't know, it could go either way, but it does look really cool. I think the whole idea of having this kind of, for those at home who don't really know what Escape from Tarkov is, you kind of, it's like a run-based thing, and you go into the wide world and kind of loot things and then bring it back, and then you sell that shit and buy more stuff to go and do more loot runs. And as you get better gear, you can obviously go to different areas and get better shit, and it's kind of rinse repeat. So I'm guessing same kind of
thing. I do believe that there is equipable items in this, so you can go. You might have a really nice bow that you found on your last run, and you're like, "Oh, do I risk taking this in to be stronger to try to get better rewards?" Because apparently there's some enemies in there that are almost like you need a squad to take them down, that's where the good loot is. So it's kind of like there's this big trade-off between quite an addictive game. Apparently, I think it would be great to with a couple of mates to get in there and give it a crack. So
I'd love to give that a crack. Do you know when it was coming, Chris? Did you mention that?
What did I say? Yeah, Q4 2023. They have had a couple of open beta things, so maybe have a look on the website and see if you can get on that. I know that Broges, the streamer Broges, has played a couple of times. He's a Tarkov player as well, so he had quite a few nice things to say about this game. Thought it was pretty well received. So
looks like if you're a fan of those kind of medieval first-person combat games like Chivalry and the other one that's not coming to my mind, Mordhau, I think is one of them.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
I think if you like those, the combat looks very similar. And I guess if there's a little bit of I do like the idea of PvP versus E, that you've got a bit of every flavor. So I kind of like the idea of getting stuck into combat with a big troll, and then some bloke tries to come and pinch your life at the very end. And
I've seen some clips. I swear my TikTok knows me too well, Kat, but it started showing me clips of Dark and Darker, and there's a couple of things like there's a rogue where you can go invisible, and I saw this clip. There's a guy that mainly aims at PvP, and he's obviously taking good gear in there, but he takes out full squads. He stealths behind stuff. That's and he's got these dual daggers, and he's bleeding them, and then he was going high. There's these full PvP mechanics. It does look very cool.
I hope that they have proximal chat for when people die, like they do in COD, fuck you, asshole.
Yeah.
when the little rogue comes in and bleeds you to death. Love it. Okay, Grizz, well, what else is on your list?
Number two, Cap, Star Wars Jedi Survivor is coming out 17th of March 2023. So this is the sequel to the video game that came out, when was it? Cap 2020, I think, maybe?
Oh, yeah, I think
maybe earlier.
Right?
Some time around there.
That,
which was Fallen Order. Now, for those of you that don't know, I'm sure if you're a PC head or even a Star Wars fan, you will have heard about Fallen Order, but I guess it kind of came out of nowhere, and it is an EA game.
2019, Grizz.
2019, thank you, mate.
So pretty close.
Pretty close. It was very well received, not only from the Star Wars nerds from a lore perspective, but also from, I guess, you could say the Soulsborne community, Cap. We had a bit of a content drought at the time, kind of waiting for Elden Ring, and there'd nothing been come out for a while, and it was like, wow, this game just has this really tight mechanic that played quite similarly to Souls games, and was great. I played it and really enjoyed it, and I'm not a Star Wars nerd, but yeah, I think looking forward to this. I think if it's anything like the last one, it'll be a cracker.
Yeah, I think I'm really keen for maybe. I think the story was really cool. Just a fairly classic Star Wars story, but I'm keen for them to go a little bit freaky and just really go off the rails with the story. So I hope that they really take it to the next level in that department. All the characters in this new one look actually really cool.
They had some big name voice actors too, didn't they? Kat had some reasonably.
The guy who plays Cal Kestis, whatever his name, he's like the Joker in one of the many million fucking Gotham Batman recreations. But one of it's like the young Batman thing adaptation, kind of like they did with Smallville, I guess, for Superman. But
Deborah
Wilson? I don't know shit about DC or Marvel, dude, so I'm probably the wrong person to ask him. I'm just making it up. But he definitely did the Joker, I believe.
Did the Joker, all right. Yeah. There you go.
I'm wondering if there is any other people that...
Deborah...
Survivor. Survivor voice actors.
Yeah, have a look.
Find out.
Have a little sneak peek. Yeah, but I haven't got a whole heap more to say about that one, Cap. I just think it's going to be a great game. It is number 2 on my list because, the last one definitely was fantastic. So,
hell yeah.
Anything to add on Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Cap?
Not really. I just, man, I tell you what, dude. Fucking, why are the freaking guys who made it not coming to me? What is their freaking name? Respawn Entertainment.
The studio.
They're the guys. Yeah, it's the studio. They haven't really made a bad game, as far as I'm aware. Maybe I'm wrong. But, I just think they'll continue to create really good properties. I think as a development studio, they've got some really strong leadership that just kind of steers them in the right direction. So I think this is a known quantity, and I think we're going to get a really fucking good Star Wars game, another one, and hopefully they lean into the Soulsborne stuff again and do. I don't know. I think there's a few extra ways they could probably take the character customization to kind of make it a little bit more complex and interesting. Maybe give you sort of builds, I guess. But yeah, it looks really good. I think the new kind of animations and finishes and stuff look really, really sweet.
Yeah,
so
just on that, are we going to get is it going to be like a current gen? Is it going to be like a PS5, like a nice, pretty, brand spanking new, well-made game? I wonder.
I would assume that it would be for next gen consoles. Google is literally saying, well, Wikipedia, I guess, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, which is, S, whether S is a next gen console, we've kind of debated before. But and then obviously PC. So, it's being targeted for newer systems. So
good.
Yeah.
Exciting, yeah.
It should be real sexy looking. So I think they can do some really cool stuff. But yeah.
Right. Cap, number 1 for me, and probably my most anticipated game for 2023, Diablo 4, coming out 6th of June, 2023. Now, the reason why I'm very excited about this, Cap, is it looks and it appears like Diablo 4 is returning to its roots somewhat. And what I mean by that is if you were a nerd in the 90s / 2000s and you played Diablo 1, Diablo 2, you would have noticed that those games were a lot more dark, gothic, gory, brutal than what we saw for Diablo 3, which kind of went this hyper-saturated, no real gore, pretty tame cutscenes. Cap, I have this vivid memory of being a young Grizzler playing Diablo 1 and walking into the catacombs, the church, which is like the first kind of enemy area, and getting into the room where the butcher is and just seeing, like, I know the graphics wasn't great back then, but you walk into this room in the cathedral and it's like covered in blood and guts, and he says the line, he was like, what does he say? He says, fresh meat or something like that, and you just kind of shit your pants, like, holy crap, here we go, it's on. So absolute classic. But the bits we've seen from Diablo 4 to date, what have we seen? 2 cinematic
we've seen a couple of, well, I mean, there's one particular cinematic that released more recently that was just like, holy fuck, if this is the grade and quality of the cinematics we're getting after each chapter, I am so fucking on board. It's out of control. But then obviously we've had a few gameplay trailers as well come out alongside as well.
Yeah, and they do look to be going back to the roots a bit in terms of there's a lot darker, that you don't see those saturated spells and bits and pieces. And I think we've seen like a blood wall from a necromancer or something, and it's like just like a wall of blood,
like a tidal wave of blood that just goes across the hallways and stuff, and it looks so fucking dope. I think you're right though, Grizz, that whole grimdark kind of direction that they've gone back to, it just serves the whole theme and subject matter so much better, I think, than what Diablo 3 did. I think Diablo 3 was great, but I'm much more of a fan of that grimdark fantasy stuff that they look like they've got going on.
Me too.
It looks really rad.
Absolutely. Now, the biggest thing that I'm sure is on everyone's lips, and I don't want to spend too much time talking about this, Cap, but I'm sure there are people out there that are concerned about the monetization, especially after Diablo Immortal and Blizzard doing other shady things in in terms of just being general scumbags. But I'm honestly not worried about it, Cap. I'm not worried about the monetization decisions for Diablo 4. Blizzard so far have been very clear to say that Diablo 4 will not be pay to win. It is anticipated that Diablo 4 will release with no pay-to-win mechanics and only cosmetic items in the game store, other bits and pieces. And, we saw the monetization model that Diablo 3 had, and I think they can make cosmetic money from the cosmetic stores and from paid DLCs and when they create a new class, which will inevitably happen. I don't have any worries about it. Anything?
Yeah, I think you're going to have to expect a battle pass and stuff like that, but it sounds like there won't be any currencies that are tied to that battle pass, and even if they are, it'll be, I think it'll be kind of shit that is just you're going to get anyway kind of thing. So it's not stuff that you can buy, I guess, 1-to-1. So I'm positive that there will be some instances of that. So, expect some kind of monetization. I mean, this is just the world we live in now. This is how live service games work. This is how, and the thing is, like, people pay for that shit. So if you don't like it, then fucking stop paying for it. Like, it's that fucking simple. So, people get, but I don't pay for it. Well, fucking too bad. Other people do. So, unfortunately, you're living in this world. But look, ultimately, yes, there will be monetization. It sounds like they're being fairly, I think they would be really shooting themselves in the foot if they introduced, the amount of, or even half the amount of monetization that's available in Immortal into a PC game like this, because the PC gaming community just, I don't think would be okay with it. You know what I mean? Like, I think it would really fuck them. And I think they know that Diablo as an IP is a very, it's not like they can't just put it on mobile and know everyone's going to play it from the mobile market, because, mobile market gamers will just eat fucking anything you put on their plate. When it comes to PC gaming, they got to be really careful. So I think they understand that, and they will do a reasonable job. Obviously, we have to wait to see, but I mean, the game at the moment looks awesome, and I'm very keen to get my hands on it as well. Very, very keen.
Cool.
But yeah, now Grizz, you got some special mentions as well that you just want to quickly outline?
A couple of special mentions. Skate Story comes out this year, Cap. We've talked about that before on here. It is like a mixture between some crazy RPG game and Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. So
it's got like that weird kind of like 80s retro kind of weird VHS kind of filter over the top of it. And I think you're supposed to be like a skateboarding glass demon or something.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Very
So it looks pretty cool. Lord of the Rings Gollum comes out this year, Cap. And I know this comes from not a very well-known studio, but everything that I've seen looks pretty cool. It is set in the Lord of the Rings universe, and you're essentially playing Gollum. It kind of looks like a stealth game where you're stealthing around, doing things, achieving objectives. It looks interesting, so I'd be keen to see how that comes out. Then the last one is a game called Blood Bowl 3. Did you ever play any of the Blood Bowl games, Cap?
Look, I didn't, but I kind of roughly know what they're about. But hit it with me.
So those of you that don't know what Blood Bowl is about, it is a Warhammer-based game, and it is essentially, I would say, NFL football set in the Warhammer. Is it 40k universe? But it's basically anything goes. You can fucking like kill your opponents, and there's that dirty tactics. And they've got all the Warhammer races, the Orcs, the Chaos, the Skaven. So maybe it is normal Warhammer. But I played it as a kid on a really old laptop. It's been quite a while since I've had one of these games come out, and it is quite addicting. It's really good fun. You kind of work your way through almost like a NFL match history, and your players are your players. They have their traits. I might have Captain Perth on the sidelines that's really strong. I might have a Pavlova face who's really quick and really small, and you kind of like build your team and you work through, and your players can die, and then you've got to hire new players if they get wrecked.
Can't kill me.
It's just a very cool game. So I'm excited to see that one come out, and it's a bit of nostalgia factor for me on that one, Cap.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. That sounds awesome. Very, very keen to, again, watch the Grizzly Gaming 86 playthrough of that bad boy. Well, Grizz, very strong list. I like where you've gone with that. Well, shall we, Pav, do you want to quickly interlude with with what you're looking forward to this year?
I don't think it's going to surprise anyone. It is the one and only game I'll probably be really diving into this year. Hopefully it comes out. It's Silksong. We say hopefully. I'm pretty sure they've said 2023.
They have
Silk
said
Song.
it a few times, but the thing is, like, dude, those guys made so much fucking money off the original Hollow Knight. I just don't think they are in a rush. And I wouldn't
you know what?
be either if I was a millionaire.
I far rather them not be in a rush, because if it's released and it's not ready, it's gonna be a public outcry.
Yeah,
I'd rather them take as long as they need, as much as I wanted this year. And
it looks great though. I think just more of the same stuff, and maybe just beef up, some of the boss encounters, and maybe extend the character customization, and maybe a really big focus on the world building through exploration and level details, etc. I just think,
so good,
beautiful, such a beautiful game and aesthetic, and Jesus Christ, can't wait to play that game.
I managed to play the demo in 2019 at PAX.
Oh Jesus, okay, that would have been early days. Wow,
so good.
yeah. Well, I can only imagine it's come a long way in 4 years. So,
we hope.
Yeah.
That's quite a long time, isn't it? They've been sitting.
Yeah,
it is.
I remember Cap, when we went down for that original Tinternational journey, talking about you and Adrian talking about Silk Song all the way back then. Yeah. It's
been a while. Well, nice one, Pav. Well, look, let's fucking dive into mine, because we're fucking we're taking a bit of time doing this section. But that's okay. I think this is good fun. So all right. So my of the five, my fifth, most anticipated is a game called Sea of Stars. Now, this game was kickstarted by a bunch of devs on Kickstarter. And it's kind of been touted as a spiritual successor to games like Chrono Trigger, and they kind of blend a bit of like Super Mario RPG in with it as well. So kind of gives you a rough idea of, I guess, it's a pixel kind of turn-based RPG. The encounters are kind of very similar to how Chrono Trigger would have encounters, so you'd kind of walk into them in the world, and it was less like Final Fantasy and Pokemon, where you're walking through grass and then it's like like you kind of have areas where there's encounters that you can see or run into and stuff, and they're a little bit more I guess unique in that sense. So, but yeah, again, turn-based RPG. It looks beautiful. The pixel graphics are unreal. It's got like this beautiful kind of soft dynamic lighting that it's going with, that kind of is a little bit reminiscent of what is that fucking RPG that came out for the Square Enix that is not coming to my mind? It'll come to me soon, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
It's not like Lufia or something like that, is it?
No, the one Octopath Traveler is
what
I'm thinking of. That kind of soft lit pixel art kind of stuff going on. But yeah, they're going to have like things like fishing and all kinds of shit. But it looks really cool. There's also, with the combat, you can do stuff like in Super Mario RPG, where if you time the hits of animation you can do sort of extra damage and stuff, which I'm a big fan of. It just looks really, really awesome. I think another really cool thing as well is the composer from the original Chrono Trigger, Yasunori Mitsuda, is going to also be penning some tracks down for this title as well, which is very rad.
So I think that's the biggest thing for me, Cap. The Chrono Trigger OST is very highly regarded. Yeah,
it's
as being
some goat shit.
Oh, absolutely amazing. So yeah, I actually saw this when I was looking through mine, Cap, and I saw your list and I saw it on there. I was like, fuck. But yeah, it looks fantastic, mate. I hadn't come across it before. So yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Hopefully, I really hope that they don't skimp out on the story. I think they've got something really fucking awesome here. And yeah, I'm really excited to get my hands on it.
Sea of Stars.
Sea of Stars. Check it out. Go and have a bit of a squiz online. But yeah, I think people that nostalgic for old Chrono Trigger and Super Mario RPG, you're gonna get a massive e-boner over this one. So go and check that bad boy out. Now, the next one on my list, Grizz, is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So this is the second part of the remake that we're working with. We've gotten a trailer that kind of didn't give an awful lot away, but kind of it reintroduced some characters like Zack and stuff. Now, it kind of seems like Square Enix are kind of going a little bit off the beaten track in terms of the story of the original. They're kind of giving it its own flavor for the remake. So there might be some things that change a little bit. Like, there was some moment-to-moment stuff that kind of was a little bit mixed up in the part 1 of the remake. But I had so much fun with the remake. I would have really liked some kind of turn-based option that wasn't marketed as an easy mode for part 1, and maybe they might do something like that with part 2. But I did really enjoy the action-based kind of RPG combat where you're kind of weaving in spells and cooldowns on your abilities and stuff. And, if you go hard mode, you're trying to kind of, time your attacks properly with your other characters to, get the best bang for buck and stuff. But I just think their approach to recreating that story was really awesome. Obviously, they've kind of gone from this like early 3D game and turned it into a fully fledged next generation title.
Looks amazing, yeah.
And done such a good job, and it is honestly beautiful. I mean, back in the day, Final Fantasy was always known for its graphics and stuff, and I feel like it really did a really good job of staying true to that kind of childhood ideology of them being like the computer graphics company. You know what I mean?
So blown away, but I think it might have been Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation 1, maybe.
Yeah.
That was the cutscenes were just like, whoa.
How many was it? 3 discs? I can't remember.
I think it was maybe 3 or 4. It was a lot, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was a lot of discs, and I remember like you get to the part, it was like insert disc 2.
Yeah.
You're like, okay.
Now, Cap, I believe we spoke about this last time, but there becomes a point in Final Fantasy VII where it's kind of semi-open worldy exploration a little bit.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Are you hoping that they do something like that for the rebirth for this?
Yeah, I would really like to see that. Now, I guess if they've got the engine put aside for, I don't know whether they had to create a new engine for remake. I assume probably there was some degree of that. Maybe that enabled part 2 to be, because they're literally at the point now where it basically it like goes towards the kind of open world. So I think where I can see the natural seams in the storyline for where they do remake part 1, part 2, and part 3. So obviously the end of remake part 1 is when the reactor blows up and all that kind of shit, and then they move on to the eastern continent to do some bits and pieces over there, and then they traverse through all that. So I'd imagine the eastern continent is going to be where they do the majority of part 2. Obviously that remains to be seen, unless they take the story in a completely different direction, which I doubt. I still think they need to. If you ask me, I think that they need to be fairly true to the story to some degree to still have those nostalgia threads to keep the hooks in people. I think that's going to be really important. But I do really hope there's an open world kind of, I don't know, just an amount of open world, because that's how I remember Final Fantasy. That's Final Fantasy for me.
Cap, was Final Fantasy VII the one where you get on a chocobo and you can like ride around the place? Was that
you could get a chocobo. I think again, kind of in this eastern continent stuff where you had to go and get the Geisel greens or whatever they're called, and you're going to feed the chocobo and you're going to do a side quest and all this other shit. But it looks amazing. So I'm very, very keen for Rebirth. I think Sephiroth is such a fucking radical villain as well. What a mad dog. There's that one. Now, the next game on my list is Baldur's Gate 3.
Yes.
Larian Studios did absolute wonders with Divinity Original Sin 2. Again, another game I never finished, but god fucking damn, I loved every moment of that game. They kind of do this, I guess it's like an isometric kind of top down. It's not really isometric. It's just kind of like that perspective, RPG, tactical RPG, turn-based. You have a squad that you use, and, they all kind of follow fairly common like D&D-esque class systems.
Very D&D inspired, isn't it?
Highly D&D inspired, but they gave it their own world with the Divinity Original Sin game. Now, Larian are applying that exact same formula to the Baldur's Gate kind of series and doing Baldur's Gate 3. Now, I love the D&D universe. I am probably one of my favorite games of all time is Neverwinter Nights 1. What a fucking masterpiece of a game. Brilliant game. So if they can, and then, I mean, obviously Baldur's Gate is incredible as well. So, producing the third in that series is going to be brilliant. I think the cool thing is like the game literally begins on like what is effectively a spaceship for mind flayers, which is just fucking cool as shit. So that's just going to be super rad. But yeah, I just think I'm really excited to see Larian's take on the Forgotten Realms world and just breathing life into that.
What's interesting, Cap, is very much D&D. I wouldn't say inspired, but there's a lot of crossover there. So much that I didn't realize this, but the campaign that I'm working on for my brothers, Mikey, I don't want to fucking spoil this for you, but Neverwinter is on the map. Yep. On the map for my players to potentially go and explore in that.
Yeah.
So
Neverwinter is a very classic just city, I guess, that people go to in. It's kind of like I don't know. It's like LA. You know what I mean? It's just like
in the D&D world,
It's like everyone knows about LA, everyone knows about London. It's that city. So it's very 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 classic. So, but yeah. Anyways, Baldur's Gate 3 looks amazing. I think the character customization looks really good. I mean, Larian are well and truly capable of producing an incredible story, as from what we've seen. In Divinity Original Sin. So yeah, I'm very excited to get into that.
Cap, now, is it co-op, Cap? Baldur's Gate 3?
Yes, up to 4 players.
Oh, that's so good. Divinity Original Sin 2 is as well. But yeah, fuck, I'm very excited. And the bits of gameplay we've seen and stuff look very polished and nice, don't they, Cap?
Absolutely. Yeah, well, they've got I assume they're kind of running off a similar engine or, upgraded the Divinity Original Sin 2 one. So, anyways, Baldur's Gate 3 looks very, very cool. Very excited for that. Now, 2 more. My second most anticipated is Lies of P. Now, anyone in here knows I'm a massive Bloodborne fan, and Lies of P looks to be applying successfully, based on the trailers that we've seen so far, the very difficult to replicate Bloodborne combat kind of technique, I guess. I've just never seen anything look so appealing but also just kind of also familiar, I guess, when it comes to a game. Like, again, massive Bloodborne fan. I love the combat, and these guys, the developers seem to be really pulling all stops for this to kind of recreate something that's very similar to Bloodborne. Even the UI looks very similar. I think they're not really. They're kind of shamelessly really kind of doing almost like similarly to Sea of Stars, a love letter to a game that obviously those developers love a lot, which is awesome. And I mean, we'll probably never get a Bloodborne 2 or anything that's even remotely Bloodborne-esque from PlayStation, because they just seem to hate that IP. So, I mean, this is my Bloodborne 2, so I'm very excited to play this game. It's based loosely on the story of Pinocchio. And when you see some of the kind of Victorian, again, vaguely Gothic kind of architecture and enemy design, there's a lot of like kind of, I guess, clockwork based enemies and stuff.
You can see the inspiration from Pinocchio if you actually take time to have a look at it.
It looks like you'll even have kind of like a Jiminy Cricket style character that probably helps you out as like a Legend of Zelda Navi fairy kind of style thing. But yeah, it looks really, really good, very intriguing. I think the storyline, just from the trailer, again, a lot of intrigue, because it's kind of like, where are they going to take this storyline? Like, it seems like, is your character Pinocchio or you're someone else? Like, what exactly, where are you in the story, and how do they apply the tropes of the classic Pinocchio story to this like Bloodborne-esque kind of very gory kind of Soulsborne combat? So yeah, very excited for Lies of P. I know you are too, Grizz. And
it looks fantastic, mate.
Can't wait. We know that that's coming sometime in 2023, but we just don't know when. So now, one game that we have an absolute date for, the 12th of May 2023, is the follow-up to the greatest game of all time, as voted by all critics and all Metacritic's users. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, also known as Tears of the Kingdom. Now, this is another. I mean, I literally have Legend of Zelda tattoos, so it kind of has to be at the top of my list, right? So
This was voted the most anticipated game for the Game Awards, Cap.
it was exactly, and I mean, This is my most anticipated, absolutely. I loved Breath of the Wild. I think they did an incredible job to, reproduce, I guess, Zelda in an open world setting. I mean, everyone knows that I have some, I don't know, I think the game has a few shortcomings in terms of the way that some elements of Zelda were missed, particularly the way that they introduced, I guess, dungeons into that game. They kind of had these cookie cutter trials and stuff like that, and then they also have the main overarching dungeons, which again were fairly cookie cutter, but I mean that's kind of a relic of just being an open world game, and most open world games just have this cookie cuttery kind of stuff going on, apart from Elden Ring, which did a really good job of not doing too much cookie cutting.
Bit of RPG fatigue in there, Cap, collecting 1,000 Korok seeds, mate, or whatever.
I mean, to literally get given a shit as a reward. But look, I think that game was great. I think for its time, I think it did a very similar thing to Elden Ring in a lot of ways. I think it took open world gaming into a different direction, but gave a lot of the game a lot of attention to detail and care for all of the offerings it had across this big open world. Again, applying the Legend of Zelda formula to that, but also having nostalgic things in that game, such as just like little things like having the reoccurring themes of the Koroks and the Master Sword and the Zelda and also Link and their story together, but also having these reoccurring races of people like the Zora and the Goron, but also having and just kind of tying that into this insanely shattered storyline of Zelda overarching, and these different timelines, and trying to figure out, well, where does this fit in and where are we, like, kind of thing. So but either way, Tears of the Kingdom looks amazing.
It does.
I think I'm very interested to see how they kind of iterate on the original Breath of the Wild,
because this is set in Hyrule again, isn't it? Oh, it's in the same universe that Breath of the Wild, same kind of place, isn't it?
Absolutely.
From what we've seen.
Yeah, so as far as we're aware, I mean, it's Hyrule, but what's happened to Hyrule is the big question. Like, we have seen a cutscene where, Link and Zelda encounter, some kind of like zombie-esque kind of presumably Ganon figure, and then something happens.
Bloody Ganon, he's always fucking up to something, Cap, mate. You know what? This is off subject, but it wouldn't be an OGR podcast without being off subject. I've been actually playing through A Link to the Past SNES version recently.
Love it.
It is such a fucking good game, man.
I know. Yeah, I know. It's a banger.
It was almost like I was playing it for the first time because I've forgotten all the things, mate. Forgotten all this, where everything is.
That's so good, though. That's how you want to approach those nostalgic games, though, right? And you go, that's how this goes.
Yeah. I remembered some bits, like, throwing the right thing into the pond and you find a bottle under the bridge and stuff like that. But yeah, just good games.
Yeah, what a banger. But yeah, look, I mean, Tears of the Kingdom's looking like a cracker. I think, there's obviously been some kind of there's some trailers that have been released showing off some of the new mechanics, and it seems like they're leaning quite heavily into that ancient technology kind of theme that was going on in the first game, where you had like what was literally like a tablet, like a iPad tablet. So it looks like you're going to be getting more cool technology from the Sheik ancient race or whatever they're called. So that could be pretty cool. But I think what remains to be seen is how the Switch manages this game, because as we know, we've spoken about it many times, the Switch is fucking on a fucking ventilator, basically. I just don't know how the fuck it's going to run a game like this. I think Nintendo must be paying some very, very smart people a lot of money to try and figure out how to bring games like this to a console like that.
Do you think, Cap, will you be putting your money on that this is a time where Nintendo will release a Switch Pro alongside the release of this game?
Riz, I don't know if now is economically a good time to be releasing a new console. I don't really know. Last week, we spoke about how Ubisoft is potentially shitting the bed desktop GPUs are on the downward spiral. I mean, inflation is huge. Like, is now a good time to release a console, or do you just keep hashing out shit for your current console and try and, offer consumers something for a lower price? I don't know. I don't really know what the answer is.
There's also a
Chris.
story on the run sheet, Cap, about this stuff too. About
there's a couple of
if
stories.
we get there,
but yeah. So look, my most anticipated game of 2023 is Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. So there you go. Now I've got a few special
honorable
mentions.
Yep. Give them to me.
So first one is Atomic Heart, which is releasing next month. Actually, it's kind of, I guess, it's looks AAA-ish, but indie dev, like, I suppose. But it's another kind of love letter game to what looks like BioShock Infinite. So it's got that same kind of crazy, wild, wacky kind of, I guess, themes and aesthetic. But it looks like it's kind of set in Soviet Russia with a lot of like weird machines and automata and stuff like that. And your character has a lot of very similar kind of BioShock abilities and stuff. Where in BioShock you'd be finding all these things that make your hands do certain stuff.
Yeah,
kind of very similar kind of perspective thing, first person kind of spell kind of base shit, but also it's not really spells. It's kind of like biomechanical stuff. It looks really rad. I am going to probably make that my game of Feb to play. So that'll be February sorted. So
very good.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks really, really cool. Now, the second game on my special mentions is Wild Hearts, which is EA's answer to Capcom's Monster Hunter series. I think,
that was one of the funny contraptions and stuff, wasn't it? That he was using.
Yeah. So your character is set in like, I guess like fantasy Japan, with folklore kind of massive creatures and stuff. But your character has this little wooden box that can turn into all kinds of things, like a big mallet to smack monsters, or like a
trampoline to jump off.
Yeah. Excuse me. So that looks really cool. I mean, it actually looks like a fairly good Monster Hunter clone, but also has its own kind of flavor. So I think there's a lot of ways, in my opinion, that Monster Hunter could grow as a genre. And I would love to see someone take it in a direction that maybe makes it feel less repetitive. And
it's grindy, isn't it?
Grindy.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We'll see what they can do with it. I'm sure it'll have a battle pass. I'm sure it'll have fucking everything else. But we'll see what EA can do, because, well, they haven't really done a really great job in showing us what they can do recently. But, anyway, so there you go. Now, this one's going to be controversial, Grizz. But number 3, I'm actually quite interested to see what happens with Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Are you? Okay.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I loved the original Assassin's Creed games. I'm talking Assassin's Creed 1 and 2, and the different iterations of 2, Brotherhood and the other one. I can't remember what it was called. But those are my favorites. I feel like that's Assassin's Creed, that kind of, open world assassin based kind of stuff without the RPG bloat, and very true to, like, you have your targets and you go out and find those targets. So it seems like they're going for a similar style and a much more kind of, enclosed approach to the story and, I guess the overarching gameplay mechanics. So hopefully they can produce something that's more reminiscent and nostalgic of the earlier Assassin's Creed games. For me, that's what I want. But yeah, I think they could potentially do it. And let's be honest, I mean, Ubisoft need to be doing something, because
they got to be doing something, mate. They're on their last legs, surely.
Yeah, it's not looking too good for old Ubisoft. So we'll see what they can do. But there you go. So those are my special mentions.
I tell you what, Cap, what have we got? 10 main games and then 3 each. That's 16 games.
A lot of games
we're excited about for this year. 17 including Pavs. There's a lot coming.
Yeah.
Very
cool. Freaking go. It looks it's a very juicy 2023 or year.
I feel like we had a quiet year last year, apart from Elden Ring, which is the best game of all time, mind you.
Yeah,
God of War.
Yeah. God of War was very good. Again, need to go and finish that. But I had a baby, so cut me some fucking slack, will you?
Yeah.
Fucking Darkris in chat giving me shit about not finishing games. I don't really have any excuse for those other games, but the ones more recently. There you go. So there you go. Those are our most anticipated games of 2023. So maybe if you're floating around Twitter, let us know what you're looking forward to. Do a little cheeky at OGR show and let us know what game you're looking forward to most, or drop it in the Discord. We'll let us know what you guys are looking forward to. So there you go. Now moving along, Grizzler, Microsoft is having a bit of a roughie as well. They are looking to be dropping 10,000 jobs across their workforce, which equates to about 5% of their workforce. So it doesn't sound like much, but that's a fucking lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
But anyway, so those layoffs are going to be affecting 343 Studios. They're the guys that do, the ongoing Halo stuff. The Coalition, which I believe is Gears of War. I might be wrong on that one, but I'm pretty sure they're the dev that they do got Gears of War and also an unannounced IP that they've been working on. And also Bethesda are going to be affected as well. So, which times lines up interestingly with something that Todd Howard said kind of mid-December, I believe, saying that they are going to have to delay Starfield because they didn't think the amount of work they had to do between now. He basically said, look, it's not an exact science with release dates, but we just don't think I'm going to get this done in time. But I do wonder whether maybe he knew about this. Anyways, there's that. So, but anyway, so look, they're looking to lay off 10,000 staff, which is obviously a shitload. The CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, basically said, look, this is very difficult but necessary. The standard corporate shit that they say, Microsoft will emerge from this stronger and more competitive than ever. Basically they're looking to cut the fat from key strategic areas, obviously gaming. I'm guessing there's a bit of bloat there, or at least they think there's a little bit of bloat there. I imagine that these devs are going to get some pretty baller severance packages. I can't say that for every single one.
A couple of redundancies, you reckon, Capo?
I'd imagine that their redundancy packages would be pretty good, but which makes you wonder, is it really worth cutting people like this? It's going to, upfront cost is mental. It always, obviously there's an economic
Someone's done the numbers.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah, someone's done the numbers. They look at the pipeline of work and other bits and pieces. But this is interesting, Cap, in the broader picture. I guess we talked about GPU sales declining and even what you were touching on just now about Ubisoft not doing particularly great. There is fears, obviously, global recession and other things, people cutting back on spending and everything else. And what do you reckon, mate? Is this a broader picture thing that we're seeing across the board, technology?
Look, I think I find this a little bit it leaves a bit of a sour taste in my mouth, to be honest, to hear something like this when, Microsoft are a company that have just posted that they would like to acquire a company for $69 billion. And also, I believe, now I can't remember the exact figure, but I believe Satya Nadella was paid something in the realm of $50 million in terms of his last year's compensation. And that's on top of his ongoing salary and stuff like that. CEOs get paid way too much fucking money. They barely even fucking do anything. No. Look, I'm sure they do something, but still, are they worth $50 million? Who knows? Still, it's kind of that $50 million probably could have saved a few jobs. I don't know, Satya. What do you reckon, mate? So, I don't know. I kind of see stuff like that happen, and, obviously I prefer to see that go to the little guy. But I think, timing, obviously, very telling of a wider economic situation. We know that a lot of places are suffering from, one of the stories tonight, maybe we'll just quickly say it right now, Grizz, whilst it's on my mind. Factorio is increasing its price from $30 to $35 to account for inflation since its original release in 2016.
Is that right? Really?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the kind of world we're living in, dude. We haven't seen economic times like this due to a pandemic in a very long time. So I think it's hard to disassociate the fact that we have trying times economically with the fact that, companies like Microsoft are having to go through layoffs.
So touching on the pandemic thing, I found an article today, Kat, that kind of, I think, spelt it out in a pretty good way. They basically said that the pandemic set off a frenzy of new hiring in tech companies, bringing on thousands of employees to help People were staying at home. People were watching lots of Twitch and
Mm-hmm.
playing video games, other things, engaging online. We saw a huge rise in like Teams meetings and people having to service those bits and pieces. Now, this article will go on to saying that now the pandemic sugar high was fading, that they're looking at headcounts internally and realizing they've got too many people. So it's not just Microsoft here, but apparently Amazon has laid off 18,000, Facebook 11,000, and then we obviously know what's happening at Twitter when fucking Elon Musk walked in there and did massive cut, 2/3 or something. So
I think Twitter's a bit of an outlier, but I know what you mean. I think you're like, I mean, a lot of tech companies are cutting the fat, what they deem to be fat. So I don't think this will be the last of tech company layoffs, and even just layoffs in general across, organizations. I think this is going to be the new norm for a little while yet before, we see any economic recovery, and then, whatever else. I mean, Sukai in the chat's saying that Google's laying off 12K roles. So, do you know what? I find it funny, because I do really feel like what happens is one company goes ahead and does a big layoff like this, and then you have a lot of other companies quickly do layoffs as well, because all the bad press has happened to the first company. So, hey, quickly announce our layoffs now, and it'll be less tragic for our share price because someone else has done it before us, and everyone else is doing it. Yeah, exactly. So, a bit cheeky, but anyway. So there you go. That's the Microsoft story. Now, one thing that I did find, Grizz, so a few of the former 343 Industries employees, these are the guys that have been working on Halo. Now, just to kind of give people at home a bit of a background, Halo Infinite did quite poorly, and the kind of live service of the online multiplayer of that game, people would say left a little bit to be desired. They had a really poorly implemented battle pass system, and I think just in general, people weren't happy with the game modes and stuff like that. So I think that Halo has kind of seen better days as well, and maybe that's why Microsoft went, well, you didn't perform, so here we go. Now, people that have recently left 343 basically have noted on Twitter and stuff that this shouldn't really have happened, and have pointed to upper management, saying that upper management's been really incompetent on these projects, and maybe the wrong people are being exited from the company.
Interesting.
So
okay.
Pretty hectic shit going on. So, one person saying, as a Halo fan, I'm really tired of Microsoft business practices and policies slowly killing the thing I love. Between the contracting policies, they abuse tax incentives and layoffs in the face of gigantic profit/executive bonuses. They set Halo up for failure.
Interesting.
So there you go.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff we're seeing from employees exit that obviously have no muzzle anymore. So they're more than happy to give people at home their perspective. How true is that? I'm sure there's some truth to this at the very minimum, but a little bit scary for Microsoft and some of those people. So keep those people in your thoughts. Now, in similar news, Grizzly Gaming 86, things are getting quite heated for old Blizzard in China.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Quite heated. So basically what's happened, and I'll give you a kind of general overview. In China, companies that are, outside of the country, they need to have a partnered company to basically do business within China. And effectively that company will, on behalf of the, non-Chinese company or whatever, they become like the partner company that does the business on behalf of them, right? So anyways, Blizzard had a partner called NetEase, who they had done the World of Warcraft negotiations and contract through, basically. Now, it sounds like Blizzard and NetEase have gone into discussions to discuss the ongoing kind of live service of WoW in China, and it didn't go particularly well by the sounds of things, to the point where WoW is now shutting down in China. WoW and Blizzard had to basically emergency give players the ability to save their characters as a file, and with the potential of restoring it maybe in the future if they can renegotiate another contract with NetEase and China.
This is fucking insane, Cap.
dude, this
Think
story
of
is
how
mental.
much money Blizzard have got. So there's the NetEase CEO posted a hostile message on LinkedIn some months ago, blaming the fallout on a jerk at Activision.
So there's more to the story, and that particular LinkedIn conversation basically alluded to the fact that the story will eventually get out as to what truly happened. But the thing is, we have no idea what this negotiation looked like. We don't know whether Blizzard had a really shitty deal for NetEase. We don't know whether NetEase are, maybe going a bit over the top with their reaction. We don't really know. But yeah, I mean, Straight Jacket Jim puts it pretty well in chat. A jerk at Activision? Could they be more specific? So yeah. I mean, we know that there's a fair few, rogue elements in Activision. Who could it be? Could be fucking any of them.
Cap, the whole setup in China with this NetEase Blizzard thing seems strange anyway.
Well, it is strange, Grizz, because, again, that's how it works in China. If you want to do business in China from outside of China and you're not from, like, your business isn't a Chinese company, you have to have a partner company to do business on behalf. So, and then on top of that, like Chinese WoW is completely different to Western WoW. There's all kinds of things that have changed. There's monetization changes in terms of what you can and can't purchase.
They're really strict on all their loot boxes and all that kind of stuff, aren't they?
But they're also very strict on certain like story and elements.
Is that right?
And,
okay.
Yes,
Lore
big
and
time.
bits
So
and
to the point where they censor certain things. For example, I believe the undead race had to be basically redesigned because you weren't supposed to show bones and stuff in Chinese media.
No way. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So things like that. So there's a lot like WoW in China is very different. Now, obviously this was announced and Blizzard gave people the opportunity to save their characters as a file for, what do you call it? For the ability to, you just got to recreate it later, I guess. But it sounds like people have been having issues with the file and it's been corrupt or hasn't perfectly re-restored characters after trial and stuff. So people might have just lost their characters that they've spent years on. You got to remember, dude, like WoW in China has been around for a very long time as well. There's people that have been playing that game for, years and years and years. And so all of a sudden servers are being turned off and, potentially never being turned back on, and even with the potential of if they are, they might not be able to play their characters that they've lovingly crafted over these years. So a little bit shit. So
now, Cap, this is not on the run sheet, but a couple of days ago, you sent me the Tencent WoW ripoff that just looked like fucking Dragonflight. That was literally just a game that looked exactly like World of Warcraft. That isn't World of Warcraft.
So, which is a bit dodgy because it seems like it's coming only to China. So there's this MMO that was kind of a trailer was released the other day, and look, Tencent isn't the first time that they've copied things blatantly and not done anything about it, and it looks like they're going to continue that kind of trend, but. Yeah, I mean, there are zones in that trailer that look literally like they've been taken straight out of Shadowlands, like the Night Fae area. There's places that look like they've been ripped straight out of the Dragon Isles
There's
area.
dragon riding as well, Cap. Did you see the dragon riding?
Yeah, I mean, even some of the characters are literally like, Thrall and Jaina. That's Thrall the Orc, and that's Jaina the mage. And
her name's probably Jana or something. Slightly different.
Well, there's literally a dragon that looks just like Deathwing. They've got fucking airships, just like the Horde and Alliance do. They literally even I think one of the people picked up that one of the belt buckles on one of the characters was literally just the Horde logo from Blizzard and World of Warcraft. God. So that's the kind of shit that happens when Blizzard drops the ball. Tencent moves straight in. But just to kind of embellish this story a little bit further, Grizz. Interestingly, there was this clip that was going around of NetEase employees tearing down this massive statue of, I think it's Thrall's axe, Gorehowl.
Or did this actually happen?
This actually happened on live stream. They streamed themselves tearing down this massive statue at the Blizzard NetEase headquarters in response to all this bullshit going on. And what they did is they did that, which would have been, an incredibly expensive statue. God knows how much money they paid for that. But they also drank green tea at the end of the stream. Now, people are like, what the fuck is this? But apparently, it's a reference to a Chinese insult for a person who appears innocent but is in reality manipulative. So, yeah, look, we have no idea what the specifics are with the negotiations and what actually happened. We just know that NetEase is incredibly angry. So I'm sure more time will tell what actually happened.
They are not hiding that anger at all, Cap. They are not hiding that shit.
They are very not stoked about the negotiations falling through. So, So anyways, that is the story, the scoop, Jackanory for Blizzard.
Very cool.
Now, Grizz.
Are we going to talk about Starfield, Cap, or is that skipping that?
No, so I kind of skipped that, but we're going to come to that right now. So, basically, completely unrelated to. It's a developer, it's Bethesda, so a little less so in the weird economic climate we have developers making video games. So, look, Todd Howard basically came out recently, I believe. Oh, hang on, when was this? Well, this is an old one, Grizz. This was fucking June. How did I get this in here?
Oh. We want to talk about it anyway? Because I didn't know this, so we can still talk about it. Fuck it.
Yeah, we're going to have a bit of a chat. So look, basically, there's going to be... I swear we've spoken about this. The fact that there's going to be thousands of planets that are explorable, and will those planets actually be, filled with meaningful content? Probably not, I would imagine. I think there might be
No Man's Sky. Starfield.
Yeah. Oh, yes. No Man's Sky too. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know how I managed to fuck that up, Grizz. But anyways, there you go.
Well, we can go on to the next topic. Who cares? Anyway, my takeaway on this is, Kevin, they've got 1,000 planets, and they're not using random generation to somehow make them half decent. The development time to make these rewarding for exploration is going to be thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours.
Absolutely.
So they're probably going to be quite bland and shit, I would say, half of them.
I'd imagine they're going to have the Mass Effect problem where you're driving a fucking space buggy on what is a barren moon every time you go to drive the fucking space buggy. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I think we might be getting a little bit more information soon, because I think Xbox and Bethesda are doing a developer direct live stream. Now, they don't specifically say that Starfield's going to be there, but we might see something at this particular... Okay. I think that's on the 25th of January, so that's in a couple of days. So there you go. Now, Grizzly, Forspoken. This is that IP. It's kind of like a woman's been in a car crash or some shit, and then gets sent into like a fantasy land, and she has spells and can do skating and shit in this fantasy realm. It kind of looked to me like a tech demo that people went, oh, do you reckon we could turn this into a game? Yeah, vaguely, probably. So I think that might have been what happened to this. Now, it's made by Square Enix. Now, this game comes out on the 24th of January, which is tomorrow. Now, the big issue we've got, Grizzly, is that a number of reputable games journalism sites and games journalists have not been sent game codes or review codes for this particular game yet. Okay. Why is that, Grizzly? Maybe it's because the game is really shit, and Square Enix doesn't want anyone reporting on how shit the game is, so that people don't take their pre-orders and other shit and don't,
Has no one played this yet, Cap? Has no one played this game yet?
I don't think there's any reviews really going around yet, unless they're paid reviews.
Right.
So,
okay.
But yeah, I don't know. Look, from what I've seen of the game, it looks pretty underwhelming and very, I don't know, just fucking boring, to be quite honest. The protagonist just looks like one of those classic, woke Gen Z characters that gets sent back into a fucking medieval fantasy realm, and just looks shit. I mean, in my opinion, that's purely my opinion. Completely, but still, I think my opinion's worth listening to.
It's interesting people posting about this. We see Andy Robson from, I think it's a Skill Up. He goes, unfortunately, we'll be publishing a Forspoken review on Monday since Square Enix has decided not to supply us with the code. That's an extremely rare occurrence for us. So read into it how you like. Obviously,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm reading into it in the way that I think the game is utter garbage, and they know it. So,
yeah.
there you fucking go. Forspoken. Do you really want to play it? Maybe wait for those reviews to come out, ladies and gentlemen. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Man,
So-
I very, very rarely pre-order stuff, Cap, unless I'm 100% sure it's going to be good.
oh yeah, I'm the same these days. I can't even really tell. Oh, probably Elden Ring would have been the last game I pre-ordered.
Mm-hmm.
So, there you go. Now, Grizz, the next what do I call it? Story that I wanted to talk to you about.
The next question.
So, you ever played War Thunder before, Grizz, or ever watched it?
I have watched War Thunder, and I used to have a streamer friend that streamed a lot of War Thunder, and I used to quite often get raided by his War Thunder community. There is a diehard community that sits behind War Thunder. If you don't know what War Thunder is, it's basically like it's kind of like World of Tanks, but way more technical. Like they actually use proper tank noises, and all the tank schematics are proper war tanks. And
I mean, but even to the point where, you know, the in-game stats of those tanks generally are roughly reflective of how those tanks actually perform in real life. You know, so one tank is going to be better than another tank, literally because it is a better tank.
Apparently, all the sound recordings are the actual sounds of the tanks as well. Like there are actual recordings of them moving over terrain and bits and pieces too.
Yeah,
so.
it's pretty true to life, and there's a lot of people that froth on this shit. So, anyways, there's some, you know, War Thunder, and what was the tank one called, Grizz?
War Thunder and World of Tanks, isn't it? Is that what you're talking about?
I think you're right.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Basically, the forums are quite the sight to behold. There's a lot of people that sort of constantly arguing their own arguments as to why their tank should be slightly better, or someone else's tank should be a little bit shitter than what it is already. To the point where people reveal top military secrets and schematics of, you know, these things to try and win arguments.
I did not know that this was the story. I didn't read this, but holy shit, dude.
So this is the fourth time that someone has revealed top military secrets about a particular vehicle in War Thunder to basically try and win an argument. So yeah, it's not the first instance of this happening.
Did the devs go and nerf it after this guy released these military secrets?
Well, they have in the past to reflect, you know, real world instances. So I believe, like, in some of the earlier ones, they have actually gone back and updated things because, the schematics do show that tank is a little bit better in real life than what it is in game. But this particular instance, this person, it does look like they've revealed this thing that was actually public technically, but they weren't supposed to reproduce it. So, but there has been previous instances of people actually releasing like classified documentation and schematics of stuff in the past, which I just thought was, absolutely fucking batshit. So just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. Now, this week, we asked you guys the following question for our weekly OGR poll, which we chuck up on our Twitter every week and Saturday, Sunday. You can go and check out our Twitter at twitter.com/OGR show. Now, we wanted to know, would you reveal top military secrets to win a gaming forum argument? To which we had the following replies: yes, no, and here are the schematics. Grizz, you want to go through the
absolutely.
thing?
We actually got quite a few votes on this, which is surprising because I had no fucking idea what I was voting on. But
Just answer the question, Grizz.
Answer the question. All right. So we had 26.1% tied between here are the schematics and yes, and then the winner was actually no. I would not reveal. We got some very lawful abiding citizens in our listening cohort. So good on you guys. You know what, Cap? It probably is an offence. Is it a criminal offence to be releasing this stuff?
It is absolutely a criminal offence to be releasing top military secrets,
I think it's
even
quite
if they
bad.
are public knowledge. I don't think you're supposed. I think that was what came out of this particular story was. Even this particular thing that this person shared, even though it was technically in the public realm, they weren't supposed to be reproducing it.
Right. Okay.
So it was illegal.
Are you basically saying, Cap, that the OGR listeners are a bunch of goody two shoes? Is that what we're getting at,
Yeah,
mate, or
they're
what?
the kind of people that buy a fucking apple for their teacher every day, mate. Okay,
Okay.
stop fucking
Yeah.
kissing ass, all right, and start sharing the schematics, all right? Thank you very much. All right. Now, Grizz, that basically covers all of our main topics today. So we're gonna do a rule. We're gonna do the fucking cheeky quickfire as
Hell
always.
yeah, dude. Let's
just
do
want
it.
to thank our main sponsor for the quickfire as always every week. Thank you very much to our main sponsor, Pav. Play the sponsor stinger.
I completely forgot that this was a thing.
DJ Francesco.
I try to
Oh,
block.
yeah.
I try to block it out of my mind.
Dude, block it out. This is a recurring theme that we're going to have every week. So thank you very much to DJ Francesco for bringing us this week's quick fire news. All right, first off the top, mate. European Parliament votes to take action against loot boxes, gaming edition, gold farming, and more. So they're basically creating a special task force that's going to be investigating all these things.
Awesome.
Interestingly, I thought gold farming was an interesting one. That's like farming gold in MMOs and stuff and selling it on marketplaces for real life money. But yeah, so interesting. So yeah, I think this is great.
Will that impact us at all, Cap, or is this just European?
European Parliament? No. So as far as I'm aware,
I hope Aussies pull their fingers out and do the same thing, mate. You know, these oceanic servers.
I tell you what, we've got a really weird. I don't know. We've got quite a interesting relationship with gambling in Australia.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think if we tackled loot boxes, we probably have to have a real good hard look at ourselves.
Yeah,
and
very
go,
true.
What else are we fucking up in?
I think I've talked about it a number of times in this podcast, but if you look at the top amount of money spent by a country on gambling, Australia is like up near the top.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyways, there you go, Grizz.
Okay, Cap. AGDQ, which is
Awesome Games Done Quick.
Awesome Games Done Quick 2023 has raised a total amount of $2,642,493 for Prevent Cancer. There's a Twitter post if you want to go check it out. Thank you to everyone who made this marathon possible. All of you are amazing. Thank you for your generosity and support. Now, Cap, this one was done fully online, so there was no in-person event.
Yep.
But it's always love popping in there and seeing someone absolutely slay a game, just break it in half.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
It's definitely fun. I think the cool thing about AGDQ is it's a really good platform for people to talk about their beloved video games from a speedrunning perspective.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I guess because otherwise, generally people are pretty good in those segments talking about their game and the different mechanics and stuff that they're leveraging and the tech that they're using for speedrunning. So it's a good platform for you to learn something about those games. And sometimes they even get like developers and stuff in on calls to talk about some of the design and development considerations that maybe led to some of the tech that is prevalent in those games. And then, they'll be like, oh yeah, we accidentally left that code in there that does that. Oh, that's interesting. Just stuff like that. It's cool. It's a very, very cool event. If you're vaguely interested in speedrunning, you should go and watch a couple of YouTube videos on those events because they record the whole lot and chuck it up on YouTube. So yeah, anyways, there you go. Now, moving along, Grizzly. Google Stadia is now officially shut down.
Oh my God, sir.
So it is now unavailable, but I'm just going to take the next one as well, Grizz, and you can take the one after the one after
Sounds
that
good.
because we've already spoken about Factoria.
Kazi's going to be gutted, mate. He's going to lose all his Red Dead Redemption 2 time on there. Yep.
Oh, is he that bloke that had the 5,000 hours of Red Dead Redemption on Google Stadia?
Yeah, that's the guy.
Oh, good on you, Kazi. Well done. I do believe that they actually Rockstar sent like a care package out to that person that logged that many hours.
Okay. Yeah, right.
And actually got some devs to confer their save file across to PC or some shit for him, which is actually hilarious. But and I can only imagine that probably would have taken a little bit of time. But anyways, so Google Stadia is shutting down, but Google is letting people basically switch their Stadia controllers to Bluetooth with some firmware updates, so you can still continue to use your Stadia controller. It's not a complete broken brick of a piece of hardware, but yeah, so there you go. You cannot play Google Stadia anymore. It is shut down.
Cap, we've already mentioned this, but I don't know if you know this, mate. Factorio, because of the price of steel, increasing. Price of that game has gone up from $30 to $35
Well,
to
they
account
use a lot of
for
steel in
inflation.
that game. A lot of steel made to create that game, so I can understand the inflation in this particular instance of a video game.
Building
There you
blocks,
go.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Well, there you go. All right. Well, Grizz, do you remember Lost Ark?
Yes, good game.
Yeah. Did you enjoy that?
Pretty sure you can adjust breast and penis size in that game. Pretty
Can
sure.
you? That's pretty cool.
I think so.
Well, you're probably banned in that game.
Am I? Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, there's been a bug going around that if you've been inactive for several months, the game probably banned your character,
Oh,
and it might be
Jesus.
unretrievable as well. So hope you weren't hoping to return anytime soon to Lost
Interesting.
Ark.
Okay.
So there you fucking go.
There you
That was
go.
that kind of Diablo MMO Korean thing that was going on. It was very weird. I wish I kind of got to endgame because I think endgame's where it's at. But
Yeah, you
I
can
tell
make
what,
like hovercrafts and all sorts of weird shit in it.
Oh, it's mental. It's like Diablo on like it's like if a toddler was like, all right, what is your idea for a Diablo clone? And they just fucking every verbal diarrhea thing that came out of that person's mouth, it was just that was put into a game.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So Cap Returnal is launching on PC Feb 15th. We spoke about this, but that's actually really soon, man. It's like a couple of weeks.
Yeah, mate.
PC Returnal.
Absolutely. So it's Returnaling, but this time to Steam.
My game of
There
the
you
year 2020, by the way. If you haven't played Returnal, go give it a crack. It's great.
Was a bit of a banger. I mean, Dark Chris is going to give me shit about this again, but another game I didn't finish. So there you go. Maybe I'll go back and maybe I'll finish it. Probably not. There you go. Now, Grizz, Fall Guys unvaults, then quickly revaults half of its content.
What?
Look, the kind of rough lowdown of this was there's a bunch of vaulted content that was in Fall Guys that basically was just they've just kind of they said, hey. This content's being vaulted for now. It might come back later. Yada yada yada. Basically, they had a server outage due to Cloudflare just shit in the bed, and when the servers came back online, it unvaulted all of
Everything.
the vaulted content.
Yeah,
and
right.
then Fall Guys had to quickly go back and revault it, which led to a hashtag that came out that said unvault Fall Guys and get the old content back in. So anyways, led to some shitty
Interesting.
people. But
Yeah.
so there you go.
Very interesting. So Cap, SteamWorld Games teases an announcement for the January 24th. Now, SteamWorld Games, Cap, have a bunch of things like SteamWorld Dig, I believe, and a bunch of
Dig
stuff
2.
you've played. Dig 2.
They had a card game that's not coming to the top of my head. They also had I think it was kind of like almost like XCOM sort of like a tactical thing called SteamWorld Heist.
SteamWorld Quest. Oh, yes, SteamWorld Heist. SteamWorld
I think
Quest.
Quest might have been the card game.
Hand of Giglamech. Yep.
That's the one.
Now, these games are quite highly regarded too, hey, Cap? Like they're
Absolutely
pretty good.
Yeah, and they've done a really good job of reutilizing their own kind of like universe and repurposing it within different game genres.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, because I mean, SteamWorld Dig's kind of like that Dig Dug thing where you're digging through the earth and trying to find resources to upgrade your shit and digging deeper and deeper. They created another game of that, which was SteamWorld Dig 2, and then they had the Heist, which was kind of like an RPG tactical thing, and then they also had the the RPG card game that was kind of medieval. But yeah, it's cool. They do some really cool shit. So I'm actually quite excited to see what they do next.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So there you go. Another announcement. A little bit of a yarn.
Yeah. So there you go. Now the final one on here, Grizz. If you play GTA Online for PC, you're going to want to make sure that you use a firewall because a new exploit has been found that allows for partial remote code injection. Now, it seems like it's fairly insular in the sense that it will only really allow for, it'll basically like change your stats in the game and could lead to you getting banned and stuff. So, basically, hackers doing some hackery things. So
bloody hackers, mate.
If you should already have a firewall probably, but anyways, you can do that. So there you go. But yeah, that basically brings us to the end, Chris.
That was an extremely fun episode. I really enjoyed that. My highlight of the episode, Cap, was going through our anticipated releases 2023.
I actually thought the best part was when I found an article from June last year and thought it was from this year. I thought that was a pretty good part of the episode.
That was pretty good.
But no, there was a banger episode, and very interested to see what other people are looking forward to this year.
Yeah.
We might actually post a tweet midweek and just get to gauge a bit of reaction, just to see what people are looking forward to playing this year. We'll drop our top one or two in there, and yeah.
I'd love to know what games people are looking forward to this year. Do they align with ours? Are they something completely off the beaten path? But
absolutely,
yeah. Please let us know.
But yeah, and if you've got any indie games coming out this year that you think I might like to give a crack in one of my months, one indie game a month, only one, so you better fucking be good. I think January and February are basically sorted. We've got Under Dungeon for this month. I'm going to try and crack that out this week. And we've also got, what was the other one called? Atomic Heart, which is actually coming out on Game Pass, Grizzly Gaming. So,
okay.
But yeah, if you've got any suggestions for March onwards, January, February, March, March onwards, you just chuck it in the Discord or on Twitter. Now, on that particular note, you can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/OGR show. On there, we post when we're going live. We do so every Monday from 7 p.m. AWST. We record this show live on twitch.com/OGR, Oceanic Gaming Radio. Not OGR. Twitch.com/Oceanic Gaming Radio. You can go and follow us on Twitch and Twitter, but you can also come and join the conversation in our Discord server, where we post something maybe every month, and it's generally just saying hello to people that join the server. No, in all honesty, you can come and drop a g'day in there. That's a bit broken there, Pavo, in the Twitch chat. Anyways, check out our link tree in the description of this episode, or look in the Twitch chat for a link to our Discord server. Come say g'day, and let us know what you're looking forward to this year in terms of games. Now, finally, as always, just want to say thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. You know who you are. We have announced your names at the start of this episode. You guys fucking rock. Appreciate you guys immensely. We're going to be utilizing those Patreon dollars very soon to make this podcast.
We're doing things. Yep.
That it already is.
We're doing stuff.
It's going to be hard to, iterate on perfection. But again, we'll get there, I'm sure. If you want to support us further, if you could just be legends and tell people about this podcast, that would be fucking sweet. Reduce the amount of heavy lifting we've got to do. And it'd be really cool. So if you got someone that you think might like this episode or this podcast, not particularly this episode, the entire podcast would be great actually. Tell them about it. But other than that, keep an eye out for the OGR poll, which we post every week, and on the Twitter. And that's about fucking it. So that's it from us. Here at OGR Podcast. We'll catch you guys next week, again, live on Twitch or on your favorite podcasting platform. Drop us a cheeky review, and there you go.
Legends.
We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye. See ya.
Fuck yeah.
Did it, boys.
Good episode. I know we fucking squeezed that one. That was
fun.
I know I can see Pavs going, fuck, they're going to go overtime.
I was stressing, but you
Okay.
you breezed through the quick fire, so it was all good.
Pav, my daughter Lily watches our podcast on Twitch, and she messaged me on Facebook and said, "Why does Pav not talk?"
Just say, trust me, you don't want him to.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's good.
Producers don't talk; they produce. Okay,
that's very right. Yeah,
the hosts talk.
I'm in the background. I'm doing things behind the scenes.
He's freaking doing shit. But I hope you guys in the chat are doing well. Again, as always, thanks for being here. You guys fucking rock. Kamikaze Cracker. Hey Jim, how you doing, mate? Dark Chris, I'm glad you could make a stream, mate. Good to have you in here, dude.
What a legend.
Blindsided Moose, you fucking legend.
Moosey in here.
Sukai.
Oh, I missed Moosey.
God, what a bunch of fucking legends. Blue Streak, obviously. Fucking another
there's Moosey.
legend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Captain Perth. Oh, yeah, he's up in there. Yeah.
He's a good bloke as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bloke,
He's, yeah, really good guy.
Oh, shit.
Very knowledgeable. But yeah, so there you go. Look,
Cap, I cannot believe this. Do you know Jim's name is not Jim? I honestly,
Is it Jimothy?
it's not James and it's not Jim.
Is it Robert?
I don't know.
Is that something he wants on? Oh, it's public, isn't it? It's on...
He posted it on his Twitter.
What is it then?
Straight jacket.
Well. Okay. Well, that's incredible. I mean, it's literally in his Twitter handle, so I mean, I should have known.
Is it? Oh, fuck! I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Very cool. All right, I'm going to be DMing you.
I don't mind, but I'm also not going to tell you. He says, "Okay, there you go."
I need a title for tonight's episode. Straight Jacket Joseph.
Shock horror, Cap. My name isn't Grizzly either.
Fucking whoa. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, when I saw him post that, I thought about myself because people call me Liam, but that's not my real name.
What?
It's literally not my real name.
Oh yeah, I know your real name. Yeah, it's very true. Yeah. Well, Tim isn't my real name either.
Yeah, true. It's Moth. Yeah.
Oh fuck.
No. Well, look, my real name's William, but yeah, I mean, I've told people about that, and they've felt betrayed, which I didn't think William and Liam were that big a jump. But
well,
for some
this
people,
this is the first time I'm hearing about that, and I'm shook.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Get this, Pav.
That's what I mean.
The name Liam is inside Will Liam.
Yeah, I know, but I had no idea.
William.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just like Pav is short for, hey?
Don't worry about it.
Exactly. See, everyone's got a fucking secret.
And
That's
Moth
fair.
is short for Timothy.
Yeah, Moth. Yeah, actually, Timothy is actually short for Moth. Actually, because there's actually 5 or 6 H's in Moth.
Right, gotcha.
There you go. They're all silent.
All right, let's wrap this thing up. We need a title and we need a raid target.
Microsoft weathering the blizzard.
Oh, jeez. That's very cryptic. Do we want to leverage off our games, our most anticipated OGR's most anticipated games, 2023?
I think that'll be more of a clickbaity one. What do you reckon?
The most anticipated games of 2023.
Yeah, that's good.
I like it. And what was that, episode 45?
44.
44.
Shit.
6 weeks away till episode 50.
Moosey, how are you, brother?
That's fucking crazy.
The most anticipated games of 2023.
We didn't specifically talk about that, Jim, but we did note that they pledged to pay $69 billion for the company, and now they're also laying off their own staff, which bit of a fucking double back. I don't know. Seems a bit weird, champ. But yeah,
Jim,
all right,
Jim, when are you gonna? I want to come on your podcast and talk to you about video games, mate. Keen, let me know when.
Fucking hell,
Let me
Jim,
know
please
when,
take him.
mate.
Christ, I'm sick of him.
Straight swap, Jim for me. Let's do it.
Oh, Grizzly.
Crossover week.
Crossover week.
Yeah, that could be pretty
It's not
fun.
a bad idea.
I can have that.
Get your people to call my people. All right, we'll do.
All right, Pav's our people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor
so-
Pav. He always
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
to Cap and I with ideas and like, we're going to do. And Cap and I are always like,
Where-
no, I'm not free.
Yeah,
No
literally.
time.
Let's catch up this weekend. Oh yeah, I'm not free anymore. Or I forgot because I've got a fucking
Poor Pav.
screaming infant in my house.
You do well, Pav.
It is.
Just how it is.
Look, I know what's up. I know the situation. It's all good.
Yeah. You know,
Um,
we do what we can.
I want to get you guys out of here so you can get back to whatever else you need to do. I need a raid target, and we can finish
Okay,
this
right.
up.
We've got Stormy. We've got Kellosaurus, who is GZ playing Pokemon Unite.
I haven't done Stormy in a while. Should we do Stormy?
Yeah, we haven't done a stormy raid.
I'm happy
That
to do
sounds
Stormy. Yep.
good.
Yep.
Let us do that, my friend.
I can't find anything. Are you either of you setting it up?
I can do it if you want.
Nah,
Thank you.
I've completely checked out. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, it's fine.
Stormy.
I fucked up the recording, so I've got to do something. So that's fine.
Let's see if I spelled it right. Yep. Gee, Stormy's channel is intended for mature audiences. Far out. Must be lots of swears in there.
Yeah, well, you know, Stormy.
Rude. I just got served a Forspoken ad on Stormy's stream, and it looks garbage still, and that's the cinematic. Yikes! Yikes!
Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Buddy, appreciate you all. Love you all. We'll see you next week, Monday.
Bye-bye.
Adios.